your amazing little man to
Yes.
add some flair.
This is Nolan, and
Hi,
he's
Nolan.
13 months old. Say hi, Nolan. Can you say hi?
He's like, "I love this banana. It is
I think,
so
yeah,
good."
he's still waking up. He doesn't want to stop eating his banana, so he can't stop to say hi yet.
Totally understandable. I wouldn't pay any attention to us ladies either if I were him, honestly.
He has no idea what's going on, but he's cool with it.
I'm
He's
happy that
really
he's so chill, that's the best. I did wear a purple shirt, purple glasses mostly for him because I was hoping if I can sort of look interesting, he'll just be chill and calm and, you know?
it's working. Your plan's working.
I hope
So
he likes the horses and the deer antlers behind us, yeah. Anyways, this is not about that. This is about you because you brought an amazing book baby into the world. And then when you announced your book at your book launch party, you also had a really other cool announcement. Do you want to tell
yeah,
us
well,
about
that
that?
was unexpected because I actually did not even want to say anything about being pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, because what did Nolan do here? I'm sorry. Give me a sec.
Oh no, he needed
Nolan, what did
something that
you
you were
do,
showing
buddy? Okay, hold on. I hope you're still so this is like, okay, what is happening? I'm just gonna cancel this. He pressed a button. Oh, can you still hear
I can
me?
still see you and hear you. So
Oh,
you're doing
okay.
good.
This is just like true life here. Okay, I'm gonna
I
put him
love it.
down. I
Yeah,
got
let's
a
put him down.
child here, so um let me just give me one sec here. What's going on? What's going on here? Oh no, and we just started, buddy.
Okay. Well, he's kind of the topic of what I wanted you to start with, so it's actually perfect that he's making himself known.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, I know, buddy. I know. Okay, let's just close these down, and then I will find where Chrome. Where are you, Chrome? Okay.
Oh, no, did he close Chrome?
Well, it's still working. I just don't know where it went.
Oh, well, I can see you and hear
Okay, well,
you.
I can just keep
Yeah,
talking.
just talk. I mean, you're doing great. You look great.
Thanks. I don't know if I'm in the screen, but
Yeah, no, you are. You're good.
okay, that's okay. I'm just gonna look into the little lens. You
Yeah,
can't see you, but you
that's
can just ask
okay.
questions. Hi,
Yeah,
Mama.
yeah.
Oh, yes. So going on about that, like I was pregnant when I wrote my book, and so what happens is we're not gonna tell anybody about me being pregnant. And then my daughter, I think it was Gwyneth. We just had told her that we were gonna have a baby, and then she announces, "We're gonna have a baby." And then I was just stunned. I was like, "I'm gonna ignore that. Hopefully nobody heard." But I think some people did hear that.
Yeah, yeah, it
And
was
she
really
said,
cool. And I like how you described bringing a book into the world a lot like being pregnant because, I had never thought of it that way, even though I do call it a book baby, but I hadn't really thought of the process being like being pregnant
it's a
until you
lengthy
had mentioned
process.
that.
It really is because, there's some ups and downs to it. There's a lot of challenges when it comes to writing a book. And there's some yes, Nolan. I know,
It's
you're
like,
my
"Oh,
dear.
she's talking to somebody else, and I just want her to talk to me right
Yes,
now."
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna feed him, and
Yeah,
then maybe he'll give me a moment.
that's a great plan. I love how you're just willing to do whatever it takes to keep him happy and share your story with us today in this interview. Thanks, Felicia.
Yes, you're welcome. This is a little bit more chaotic than I'm used to, but that's okay. This is real life, though.
This is real life. And you are used to chaotic and being in front of camera because for many years you worked for CTV as a news
Yes,
broadcaster, anchor. You
and
were actually
reporter.
carrying 50 pounds of equipment around. Tell us about that phase of your life.
Oh, yes. Well, I did that for professionally with CTV for 7 years. I was a video journalist, and that meant I also shot all my own stories. I edited my own stories. I had to act as the reporter, and then I moved up to being a news anchor and a reporter. So that means when you're a reporter, you just have to focus on your story and being the reporter and not have to shoot it and edit it. And then I also was a news anchor and the morning show co-host of CTV Morning Live Atlantic. And then I was the news at noon anchor. And I also anchored the weekend news. And I also was a weather specialist. So I've worn many, many hats. And you have to be good at just rolling with it because live TV, there's anything can happen. So you just have to have a smile on your face and not take yourself too seriously. Take your job seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously because
Right.
lots of bloopers can happen.
Right, and then live video, I mean, that's a whole other thing, but you did lots of live video then with CTV as well?
Oh, yes, lots of live reporter hits, and then when I anchored the news, everything was live, and it was my favorite. I loved live news and breaking stories. That was my jam. Every time there was breaking news, there's a lot of adrenaline that goes into it because you're like, "Oh my gosh, am I gonna get the story, all the details on time before it's airtime?" And then, yeah, my blood is just pumping, and then I have so much energy, and I'm just so excited to deliver the news. So there's a lot of like tight deadlines that you have to make, and that's part of the excitement of the news.
Right, and you also know through your work as a video confidence coach that women in particularly have a really hard time with doing everything you just said, and probably everything you just said would terrify them. So how do you, coach women through, I guess, just some of the first steps? How do you coach women through developing that confidence piece when it comes to using video?
There's two aspects to it that I really like to focus on, and one of the most important things is keep it simple. Because the other aspect is it's a muscle. Confidence is a muscle, and the more you practice it, the bigger and stronger your muscle gets. So when I first started on television more than 20 years ago, I was really not good. I was kind of embarrassing when I look back at how I started, but I was actually really proud that I started because it just takes courage to start. And the more you do it, the better you get. The more confident you get yourself and hearing yourself in video. And that's a really big thing. And keeping it simple is very important because you can get really overwhelmed. There's so many different ways. Yes, no. There's so many different ways and types of videos you can show up in, and there's so many transitions and trends that you could try. But I think what really connects you to your audience is your messaging. And if you have a strong message, you keep it simple, you'll be able to deliver it and connect and impact your audience.
Absolutely. And we had got to know each other a little bit before we worked together on your book. And I do remember the night that I was on Instagram Live talking about this Next Femme Authors group that I was starting up, inviting women to become authors. I can't remember if you were watching live that night or if you saw the recording the next day, but I know Noreen was watching live. And I'll be interviewing her later on this week, but on Friday, I think. But she raised her hand and said, "Yeah, I want to write a book. Let's do this." And then I think it was the next day that you were like, "Yeah, let's do this." And it was just such an incredible experience for me to be able to see the way you put all those years of experience working for CTV News and all those discoveries you'd made, and then also the next chapter of your life, having your own business as a video confidence coach, and put that into the pages of your very beautiful yellow
Oh, yeah.
book with your gorgeous self on the front. I was going to grab my copy and I completely forgot. There it is.
I have it. I can't see
Yeah,
myself, but I think this is in the
it's
frame.
perfect. Yep, it's perfect.
Oh, and Nolan's here
And
too.
Nolan's back.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us about how you got started writing your book. What was the hardest thing about getting started writing your book?
Oh man. Okay, so the way I remember it is I actually oh, Nolan, I hope you can still see me.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I'm gonna move my keyboard. So the way I remember it is, well, you told me I think you have enough to write a book. Oh, you want to touch? I have it happen to that. No. Okay, let's find you something else.
We need to get him a fake keyboard that he can just hammer away
I
on,
know.
hey?
Tons of toys here, so I'm just gonna see what he likes to play doctor. So let's just
Ooh, perfect.
wanna open that. Okay, the way I remember it is you approached me and said, "I think you should write a book, or you can write a book." And initially, I thought about it initially, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I was just nodded politely, but inside, I was like, "Hell no! There's no way I have enough to write a book, or there's no way anyone would want to read my book. I don't have anything important to say." But I really thought about it, and that thought kept me up at night. And it was like, I felt really compelled to write it after a while. And I realized, yeah, you know what? I have over 20 years of experience doing this. I do have something important to say that could really help people. And that's when I agreed to say, hell yes, I'll do this. I'll do this.
And you did, and you jumped in with both feet, and you worked so hard with your 2 little girls at home,
Yeah.
and you had some help, which was great. So one thing I forgot to mention earlier in the video is Felicia is one of the 4 contributors to my new book, which is called It's Time to Write Your Damn Book,
That's
Woman,
right.
and I'm so happy to have you in there,
I'm
Felicia.
honored.
Your stories and your tips are fantastic, and I'm hoping you'll be able to make an appearance at the book launch party on
Fingers
Thursday,
crossed I can
November
make it. My
2nd.
husband's gone, so I'm hoping my mom will watch all 3 of my kiddos so I can attend.
Yes, that would be fantastic. But if not, we totally understand. We still have a couple of the other contributors that will be able to help out, but would love to see your face and give you a hug and have you share in that moment with me because you're a big part of the reason why I wrote this book. Because working with you on your book, I learned lots. You helped me become a better author coach, and you helped me be better at communicating the steps required to completing a book. So thank you,
My
Felicia.
pleasure. It was an honor. It has been an honor to be part of your book and your journey, and you're amazing at what you do and how you encourage femme authors. It is one of your gifts, and I'm so happy that I could be part of this community.
Yeah, you are and you have been and you will be, and I know, I hear about you all the time within the community, with here within the YYC Fempreneurs community. Um, so one of the questions I wanted to ask you, and this is something that you shared in the books, this little sneak peek as well. You talked about public speaking and how much you love that, and that your book changed that for you a little bit. Do you want to tell us a bit about kind of the connection between becoming an author and public speaking?
Yes, absolutely. So I have actually been doing public speaking for about 30 years. I've been doing it since I was like a baby, basically. But it's been amazing. I love public speaking. And after I left CTV, so when I was on CTV, I was asked to do a lot of MCing. But then when I stepped away, I didn't find those opportunities as often. But ever since I became a published author, it's really given me more of a stage to speak at conferences and at workshops. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
great. So it's something I love to do, and having a book is like one of the best business cards because it really sets you apart. If you have someone who's doing something very similar as you, if you have a book, it really positions you as an authority and someone who really knows their stuff and is worth listening to. So if you have this and you love to be a public speaker, I highly recommend writing a book. It's not easy, but it's worth it if you especially love to do public speaking.
Absolutely. I know you mentioned a couple stories in my book as well about getting hired to do public speaking gigs because of your book and getting discovered as a public speaker, as well as the coaching work you do because of your book. So I was so happy to be able to put that into my book. It's such an inspiring story. And one thing I did not know until I read your answers to my questions for my book was about your husband writing a book. You want to tell us a bit about
Oh my
that?
gosh, this is so exciting. I'm so excited for him. So he watched me through this whole journey of becoming an author, and he's like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And I have to say, after he did it, he realized, or while he was doing it, it's really not easy, but it's worth it. So he recently published his first book. It's called Big Hearted Parenting, Even When It Seems Impossible. And my husband is this guy on the back. I don't know if you can see it right there.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
name is Dr. Andrew Dutcher. He's a child and adolescent psychiatrist, and he deals with really complex cases and their families, so patients and their families. So this is a book he wrote because this is the resources he'd give them if he had more time to spend with his patients and their families. And he was inspired by my story and by watching me write a book so that I can do it too. And he's made like so much positive impact on families. He's now being asked to be like a keynote speaker. I think next week he's going to New Brunswick. They're flying him out there to be a keynote speaker at a men's conference. He's been a speaker at many conferences now. And I'm like so proud of him that he was able to do it. So he used to
Yeah.
think that it was something that was not possible for him, but after watching me do it, he realized it is possible and you
Mhm.
can be an author.
Absolutely. And I know one of the hardest parts for you of writing your book, and you share a little more about this in my book as well, is coming up with the title. And I think that was a real last minute thing for you. Do you want to share a bit of that with
It is
us?
so hard. I don't know about so oh, I think I've gone through I don't know how many. It was like countless titles and I just nothing sat right. Like, what am I gonna call this book? And a lot of them were kind of boring, my titles, and I just couldn't figure out one that I really loved. And so, Don't Stay a Secret was kind of more intriguing. And that's why I went with it because, like, what does that mean? Don't stay a secret. And then the subtitle is Grow Your Confidence Creating Videos That Get Views. So the subtitle is really important in this case. But coming up with the title was super hard. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of authors think, do you want that, Mom? You can have that, love. And even for my husband on Big Hearted Parenting, I think it was just like maybe a week or just a few days before his deadline that he came up with this title. And we went through a lot of titles together. Yes, love. Okay.
That's fantastic. I don't want to keep you much longer, Felicia. I know you have so much on your plate with the three kiddos and it sounds like your husband is not always home because he's got a busy career as well. So thank you so much for taking the time today. And I just want to mention to everyone again that we would love to see you at the book launch party for my new book, which is called It's Time to Write Your Damn Book, Woman. And it is the blueprint to writing and self-publishing your own book in 4 months or less. And we'll be celebrating that on November 2nd in Calgary. And tickets are only $20 and include appetizers. Please grab your tickets at yycfempreneurs.com. And Felicia, do you have any other quick tips or little hacks for writing a book?
I think I have two. One is some people, including myself, will face a lot of imposter syndrome when you're writing your book. I did. I didn't think that I was good enough to write it, even throughout the process. I'm like, why am I doing this? Even at the end, I was like, oh, but trust your gut. You have something important to say. Your message is important. And if you don't tell your story, you're going to deny someone who really needs to hear that story and needs to be inspired by your story. So write that damn book, okay, woman? And also, if you need help, writing a book is not easy. It can be very lonely. So hire someone who can help you get through it. And Lindsay is that woman.
Aw, thanks. Thanks, Felicia. I appreciate that. And yeah, I do look forward to launching another Femme Authors group after my book comes out. I'm going to take a little time to kind of breathe and celebrate my book before I jump into that. But yeah, we did have a writing retreat on the weekend, which was fantastic. We were out in the mountains and it was wonderful. So I do look forward to getting another writing retreat in the calendar as well. Anyways, Felicia, your time is so valuable and I appreciate you giving some of it to us today. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you next week. And I have one more question. I asked Tiana this, and it was pretty cool what she said to this. Do you have another book idea? Like, are you thinking up another book right now?
Oh, you know what? I think at this point, I'm thinking of children's books. I might foray into that, children's books. But at
Yeah,
this time, I've got a lot on my plate and lots of projects that I'm working on.
yeah,
So, in terms of a nonfiction, not yet, but perhaps down
yeah.
the road.
Okay. And is there something that we can do to support you? Do you have any time sensitive offers or events coming up? I know your website is
Yeah,
realawesome.com,
REEL,
right?
realawesome.com.
REEL.
At this time, I'm working on an online course. Still haven't finished it, but it's there and it's in the works. Just follow me, follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. It's Real Awesome Productions, and we can connect that way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Felicia, and have a great rest of your
Yes,
day.
thank you so much, Lindsay. It's been a pleasure.